Welcome back to the only channel that talks about William Shatner masks. I'm Timbo. Today we are talking about, well, originally I was going to be talking about the movie Halloween Ends and why I love and I hate that movie. As I've recorded this video multiple times, I have decided that it I've actually come to the realization that it wasn't the fact that I loved and hated Halloween Ends. In fact, I respect Halloween Ends for what it did because it worked with what it had. My problem, I think, lies within the trilogy itself. I love this trilogy. I think Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills, and Halloween 2018, I know I said those backwards, are all great in their own individual ways and as a collection. And I think they represent the original movie and John Carpenter's original idea. My big thing is that Michael Myers doesn't feel the same from Halloween 1 to Halloween 5. They feel like two completely different people. Two different types of killers. One lacked motivation. One had too much motivation. It was weird. Whereas I feel the trilogy stuck to what the original story was, but somehow managed to make it grow into something even more. My biggest problem, and probably most of all of everybody's problems, lies within the B plots that nobody cares about. The fact that Corey comes in last second in this franchise he comes in way too late, and Michael Myers not getting the proper send off that he deserved, as well as Laurie. And that's my biggest gripe about Halloween Ends, is that movie is nothing but the Corey Cunningham show with Allison. That if they would have just stuck with that the whole movie, I would have been fine. But out of nowhere, like, it feels like it just cuts. It cuts, and we're now watching Michael versus Laurie, and then she throws him and turns him into spaghetti. But it didn't have to be that way. It didn't have to. And I think I know if they could have done one thing different. If they could have just done this one thing, this whole franchise would have been amazing. The one thing I'm referring to is taking Corey Cunningham and putting him in the entire trilogy. This is long-term storytelling at its finest. It's a trilogy. I know originally they weren't going to be making a trilogy. It was going to be just the one movie, and then it got successful. And they were like, oh, well, let's make another two. But you could have put Corey in that 2018 movie. And this is how you do it. You start Corey off in the group with Allison and Cameron and the other two people that's in the group. I forget their names. Have Corey have a crush on Allison. And then you make Cameron a dick. It kind of already showed in the first movie. You really kind of see that Cameron is kind of he's just a high school punk that he doesn't care about his girlfriend. He's being the typical boy that sees another girl and flirts and does all that kind of jazz. Turn that up. Turn it up by 10. Have him be rude to Corey, and Corey can be like, ah, man, it's all right. It's whatever. Like, have Corey get harassed, or not harassed, but more like bullied by Cameron. Because Cameron, he may know that Corey has a crush on Allison, and he'll tease him like, oh, you'll never have Allison. This will feed into the part where Allison realizes that Cameron's a douche, leaves the school, and he gets trailed by, instead of the one friend, it's Corey. The other friend's still gonna get killed, because that's one of my favorite kills of the 2018 Halloween movie, is Michael playing in the floodlights. Had that scene there. That's where Allison will see him, and then she'll see Michael for the first time. But maybe he's on his own trail. Maybe he had a crush on the other girl, and he's like, man, I'll never have a girl. And he's just talking to Michael, and Michael kills him. At this same time, Corey also sees Michael for the first time with Allison, and they're both terrified, and they run. The rest of the movie is the same. Nothing else changes. In fact, pull Corey away from that situation. This will follow into the footsteps of Halloween Kills. Because while Cameron bullies Corey, they're still buddies, and this is what will set up Halloween Kills. So we start Halloween Kills the same way, except for one addition. We add Corey to the beginning of that movie with Cameron. They're walking together and they find Officer Hawkins. From there, they're both motivated by one, protecting Allison, because Hawkins knows that Michael is with Allison and Dr. Sartain. So he's gonna be like, Allison, Lori, Michael, call the police, he's out. And then from there, movie is very much the same in the sense of they're hunting Michael, trying to find Michael, but Corey is there too. This is where they set up Halloween Ends, though. This is my thought. I think this is how the movie should have played out, and I think it's gonna make Halloween Ends better. So hear me out. The scene where they go to the Myers house, and because they know that's where Michael's headed to after he's killed Big John, Little John, Lil John. You have Allison, Corey, Cameron, and Cameron's dad, and they're all prepared to go in and fight Michael. Cameron's dad goes in, same as usual. He goes in first, tells them all not to go, and they're waiting. He dies. Then you have Allison you have Cameron actually. Have Cameron like, I'm going in. I gotta go help my dad. He runs in. Allison follows. Corey follows her. They're all at the door. They're now searching the house. Then have Cameron and Allison kind of do the Freddy Daphne thing where they split off and they go one way. Corey goes the other. Corey's searching the bottom of the house first by himself. Cameron and Allison go upstairs and they go into the room where they find Big John, Little John. Corey goes upstairs and does the same thing Cameron would have done, and he goes the opposite way because he hears them out of the room, and he is the one who finds Cameron's dad floating upstairs in the attic. Like, Michael bursts from the shadows out of the closet, grabs Corey, does this, and that's where you have your scene where they look eye to eye. But they don't show the scene that Halloween Ends does. We don't get that whole like transformation type thing, because that's the theme of Halloween Ends. You have that scene there. Michael does not stab Corey, which is weird, but we don't get that sense because in that moment Cameron and Allison probably heard Corey get attacked by Michael. They're immediately out attacking, and Michael switches focus and attacks Cameron, kills Cameron. In the scene, you have Corey there with Allison, where Allison falls down the stairs. Corey is down there taking care of her, while Michael is just absolutely destroying Cameron. The rest of the movie goes as planned. Nothing else is different, except Corey is obviously there. And we may not have the scene where like Michael's about to kill Allison. They may have come outside and they somehow still got his mask and followed through with all that. And this leads into Halloween Ends. The only difference between this movie and Halloween Kills is I want there to be a setup scene before the 4-year gap. I want to see Corey realizing that he has been transformed. And it may not even have to be 4 years. We can even cut that down. We can have that initial night where he's maybe getting helped by paramedics and he's like has the blanket over him. He's like, Michael. Then you have 1 year later. He's doing the babysitting. And in that scene, kid dies. He does it. It's still the same kind of sense where he didn't do it, but the anger was there. And he may have let go of that door and he knew that kid was going to fall. He may have let go of that door. It just hints at it. And it sets up with a scene where the mom walks in, kid hits the table, or not the table, kid hits the floor, and Corey's just looking down in shock. After this scene, it'll take place the following year. I think the 4-year gap, honestly, is a little bit too long. Yeah, of course, you can have people moved on. People have probably moved on by this point, but they're still dealing with the effects. Hell, let's make it 2 years. We can make it 2 years after. I want to preface that in this 2-year gap, Corey has not stopped thinking about Michael. He is now obsessed with the idea of Michael. He's been searching for Michael. He's been following, deaths of people, trying to figure out where he is. And finally, after the part where he starts falling in love with Allison, meets Lori and all this jazz, he leaves that bar and he gets attacked by the group of people. They throw him off and he gets dragged in by Michael. Michael finds him and drags him into the sewer like before. And I want the scene to be, I want the scene to have the moment where Michael is attacking, but then that eye contact happens and it references Halloween Kills is that first moment, because I want people to realize this has been happening. This has been in the works, and people are wondering, well, we'll never know. It's mysterious. That's what I like about Michael Myers. Keep the mystery a mystery, keep the lore growing and the intrigue. I don't want to know why. I don't really care to know why. It just happens. And then from there, the movie becomes a Christine copycat, where basically he slowly starts to become evil and eventually has his own murder spree. From that point on, it's going to be just normal. We're building up to Halloween where he's going to go on his killing spree. Michael is going to be there too, because Michael, we're adding lore here. Michael is feeding off of Corey's killing, because there's something that's like this. He's feeding off of this and getting stronger. And by this point, they're both killers. They're both doing their thing, killing. And Corey, at this point, has already had some bad experiences with Laurie. Laurie does not trust him. And hell, let's have Allison and Corey finally have that last split. Corey's like, well, I'm going to kill these people. I'm done. I'm over it. Because his evil is different from Michael's evil. Michael's evil is very childlike, because when he became the killer, his shape, he was just a kid. So he was quiet. He was probably introverted, and it was a very childlike mindset. That's probably why he keeps on going back to his house. The Corey shape is more cerebral. I'm hoping I'm saying that word right. His shape takes more time. It thinks about things before he does it, more meticulous, and overall is a little bit more spiteful. So he's going after Laurie and Allison, and Michael's just there for the thrill of it all, because at this point he does not. We all know he does not care about Laurie. And hell, you can throw us please, if you're gonna throw a B plot, throw the B plot of Laurie realizing that her trauma is not just her trauma. Let her learn by the end of this movie that Michael did more damage to the entire town than just her. I want Laurie, that should be her arc, is overcoming trauma and then realizing that it was more than her. It was more than her to begin with. And then instead of having a one-on-one with Laurie and Michael and it just being a weird send-off and positive and roses, have it be a Texas Tornado tag team match where it's Laurie and Allison versus Corey and Michael. And let's kill them both. Kill Corey and Michael. And then at the end, I want this movie to end like Christine does. Part of the ending of the Halloween Ends book is so cool because it shows that, it points out that Laurie is basically going to be possessed by the mask, and she's going to become the next evil. That's cool to me. And the ending of that Halloween movie can be the same, where like the mask is laying in the I guess it was the dining room, living room. It's on a table, and instead of Michael's breathing, we hear Laurie's breathing, and the movie ends with the Blue Oyster Cult song. And let's have the movie in that way. Y'all, everything I just said in this video, by the way, was right off the dome, because my original video, it was a completely different thing, and I had actually written out some thoughts. This is just coming off of my head, so you better like and subscribe, because I did a lot of talking and it was just right off the top of my head. So it may sound very jumbled and ranty, and I think that's a deserving of a subscribe or a like. But that's my thoughts on this trilogy. That one thing could have changed this entire franchise, and it would have been so good. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me what you thought about my version of this trilogy and what you think would have been done. Also, I just want to give a big shout out to We Watched a Movie. I feel like they obsess about Halloween more than I do, but they're just, I love how big of fans they are of Halloween, and they always make me excited. So if you're already not subscribed to it, if you're watching a horror YouTube channel and you're not watching We Watch a Movie, you should. As always, I'm Timbo, and hopefully this video will be the last one that I have to record so I can edit and get this to you guys. Peace, y'all, and have a great rest of your day and weekend. Bye.